Okay guys, so welcome back. I know it's been a while since I've done any of this stuff, but I had to deal with some other things really quickly. So, as you can see, I changed my team up quite a bit. I now have a Phoenix, a Dragon, and a Roboster from the guys that I was able to pick up in the Extra World, and the Grizzlies from Ice World with any bird. That's what makes Phoenix, and it's actually really a good combination because if you get Stubbird and any type of Grizzly, pretty much, or Yeti, you can pretty much get twin hits, and then you get a lot of the other skills too. So this is the first part of the next level here, which is Sky. Sky's a little complicated, and I had to refresh exactly what I was supposed to do here. Now, essentially what needs to happen is you're looking for a an artifact to go and get an item here to get a way to get out of here, and essentially what happens is you go through the town here and they just tell you that you might be able to use the light orb in order to get it done. However, you can't enter the tower if any of your monsters have any wild left in them. So, but at this point, you're probably breeding, and that's the only thing you are doing. Maybe you have a monster or two that you pulled out of the farm. Simply put, just give it a rib or two, and it should be fine. And it's not like at this point in the game you're going to be actually using any monsters with anything in the wild stat anyhow. That part of the game ended pretty much in Ice World. Ooh, they got stunned, that's really nice. So overall, this tower here is relatively easy. There are some treasures that I'm going to try and grab here along the way. There are a couple false staircases that lead to dead ends, but don't worry about those. They're not too damaging. The monsters in here aren't too threatening. It's the first part of Sky World. You really have little to nothing to worry about here. Now, Skyworld within itself is actually not bad. I actually really like Skyworld because there's a ton of variety in the monsters that you can get here. Oh, that's kind of annoying. They're using magic when I don't want them to, and that's actually really bad. So, Iron Turret A is in a defensive pose. So what that is that's a move called Strong D. I know it doesn't come up, but if you get that skill, that's what it is essentially. It's okay. It's not really good. Only if you know like your monster's gonna be attacked the next turn is it really decent. And even then, I don't even think you use it for anything important because there are just way too many magic attacks that do too much damage to get past a Strong D. We're going to come down here real quick and grab an exit bell. We're going to need that to get on out of here relatively quickly. We're just going to real quickly leave here. Now, here's an interesting monster, the Man Mirror. So the Man Mirror has an interesting skill that allows it to reflect spells. It's not really too, it's not really too bad to deal with. So things like Snowstorm would simply just be reflected back at you. If you want that skill, I guess that you can go pick it up. But in my opinion, I don't really think it's that good. He also gets a skill called Transform, which allows him to become one of your monsters, which is really interesting. Because that allows him to also pick up all the skills that you have on your monster as well. So for example, if you have how do I put it? If you have like White Fire on your monster and he copies it, he also gets White Fire. Oh, perfect. So I got by attack finally. I'm just gonna lose Slime Blow is worse than Metal Cut. So essentially here, I just got my Heal All skill, and that's the skill I've been trying to get for a while. It's a skill I wanted before I got to the Sky World, because as you can see, I just took a lot of damage, and I'm not even past the first part yet. The enemies here are relatively nice. Saberman, Mad Mirror, Iron Turret. Nothing really to worry about. They're all material monsters, so if you have a monster that's really good against fighting them, by all means, bring them along. It's not like anything's gonna happen. It's not worth using the repellent, in my opinion, here. Simply because, I mean, they're pretty weak, and they do provide for some really, really interesting, combinations for your breeding purposes, especially Iron Turtle. Now, this guy here, the Mad Knight, he's actually seen in Dragon Ball Z as a one of the background characters, and he's actually been used pretty much throughout the series since then. If you know anything about the Dragon Quest and Dragon Warrior series, it's that they were originally all designed by the guy who made, well, Dragon Ball Z. In the manga and animated comics, so that's kind of something interesting to know. So that's why a lot of the artwork looks really, really familiar, and there's actually a lot of cameos inside the Dragon Ball Z game show of Dragon Warrior monsters. And he runs off with what we need. So here's the next magic key that you can get. If you missed the one in Ice World, yes, you should still go back for it. It is definitely worth it. But there's an extra one if you need it. I'll be doing that one separately. I'm not even going to bother to go grab it. There's only maybe 1 or 2 worlds that I might cover that's outside the main game, that aren't also, like, you know, mandatory extra levels for completion purposes. I'm going to put that on because you're gonna need it. I'm gonna pour it out of here. Alright, so you come back into the town here, and basically what happens is that what you're supposed to do here is, I'm gonna cut out a bunch of stuff for you guys here, and you want to go to the front of the gravestone and talk to him, and basically you tell him that the light orb has been stolen, and you need to go and, well, find a way to grab it. So you're going to grab the Change Staff here, and what the Change Staff does is something really, really interesting. You can change into any monster on the screen. So for example, here, this Land Owl. Boom, and now I'm him. Gonna stay here real quick, heal up. I always thought this was always a really interesting way of going about the game, with the Change Staff in hand. Unfortunately, it doesn't work outside of Sky World. To my knowledge, I've never got it to work, simply because I've never, you know, really bothered to try it. But I might do that when I go back. Now, here are some interesting guys: Fang Slime and ouch, and Floraman. Now, Fang Slime has a really interesting skill, which is Call Help, and then there's another one called Yell Help, which is the stage above it, and that can be really good for really early game and the first few arenas. And yes, I'm going to allow Fang Slime to join me. That's actually really lucky. I was hoping to get one. I wasn't actually planning on actually throwing any meat though, but that's really nice. So this guard will not let you through unless you've changed into a monster. Now, what you can do is you can actually change into him if you wish, and he'll let you through. And if you talk to him again, he'll just say he's asleep. So now, from this point, what you want to do is you want to head over this way here. And yes, the Change Staff has a time limit on how long you can use it. Slipperon, Fairy Rat, these guys are pretty much ignorable. You don't need to catch them unless you want to go for 100% completion. I really don't find these guys too useful. The only one that I might recommend is maybe Dumbria, and I think that's only because you can't breed a Dumbria, and that's the only reason why you would ever go pick one up. Now, essentially what you want to do is you want to walk all the way to the next kingdom, and this is the first introduction of metal enemies in the game. And it's pretty much the only level with metal guys in them. So, what's this village here? Alright, you can just come in here. You have a rib and some sirloin, so I will sell you some stuff. Mostly herbs, I don't want these things selling out my inventory, they're useless. Potions, I'm not gonna need. Mist, I'm not gonna use, I only have 2 of those. I might use that for the next mini-boss coming up. D-scale is useless. Don't even bother keeping that item. It's not worth your time, just sell it. Take some ribs for the road here. And basically what you can do is you can talk to things, and that there's a Monster King here, and that a human child was taken away by a huge bird, and he hasn't been seen since. And it's kind of interesting that they say that, because they mention that, you know, a human child. So the only human child that I know of is that you is obviously Prince Kamea, but you won't really stop in here just because they give you the information that shiny things attract the Mad Condor's attention, and that's pretty much it. That would be the only information you need to know if you're playing this for the first time. Is, you know, you stop in there, you talk to some people, they give you a little bit more background story about what's going on and what's happening, and what you need to do. But not really much beyond that. So this is the first introduction of a metal enemy here. And both of these enemies are very, very important to try and get. Metali is a really great monster just for experience. And as you can see, my Opal did a ton of damage. And that's because Opal is just one of those monsters that can, that is naturally good against it. But also he has Metal Cut, which allows him to do massive damage to metal enemies. And it provides a lot of experience. And this is a really nice surprise. You usually don't get Gigantics on the ribs. You usually almost always have to use a sirloin on these guys. But I went for it anyways because they are very, very powerful. Not to mention, they open up a lot of things for really, really strong monsters in the future. So I recommend picking them up. And you're pretty much going to be breeding pretty much breeding these guys until the end of the game. These guys are A+ monsters. They do a lot of damage, so watch out. They will kill your monster if you're if you're really unlucky like me, or if you're not really paying too much attention. Oh boy, this is not good. But anyways, like, these guys are really good. I do recommend that you use these guys pretty much until the end of the game here, just for breeding purposes. And this is I think the first part where I think I'm actually under level for this area. I did get a lot of experience for that though, which is really, really nice. But I didn't get another Gigantics. So I'm going to go heal up here just really quickly, otherwise I am going to die on this boss. Things to note about this boss: do not bother throwing any meat at it, because it's just not going to do anything, A. And B, because, A, because it's a boss, but B, he's going to join your party anyways. So don't waste your time. Hopefully I can get out of here without... Oh boy, I'm probably going to die here. Okay. Very nice. So it's just interesting in that sense. Oh man, I know it's close by. This might be the first time that I might use the log shrine as a emergency measure. Oh, that's not good. That's not good. That's not good again. Oh, come on. Okay. Barely by the skin of our teeth did we make it. But essentially here, you do need to come to this town at some point, but this is after you pick up the light orb. Otherwise it's pretty much useless. And so, just like any other Dragon Warrior or Dragon Quest game, you pretty much revive the monsters here. Ugh. And yes, it is based on level how much you actually pay, though it's not really that important. I do recommend that you come in here, though. You were going to have to come back in here later in the game anyways. So just take note of this in the future. It's super important. And I'm going to try and avoid as many battles as possible. I just take way too much damage at this early of the stage, which is really unfortunate. Sword God's not a bad monster. He's an interesting little dragon type, so I'll take him. Dang it. But anyways, like I was saying, you can buy sirloins now, but they're really, really expensive. And you are most likely going to drain yourself of money before you actually get anything done. And you're going to need that money later on, just as a quick little boost in either items or healing items or breeding chains. Because when you breed, you do run out of money relatively quickly. I do find that a lot. Happens a lot to me. It's just something to note. You probably are going to run out of money relatively quickly. Okay, so anyways, what you want to do is you want to come right up here. I was heading up here before, but unfortunately I took way too much damage on those Gigantus fights to actually deal with the boss up ahead. So hopefully... Okay, so he's doing a move called Charge Up. It's basically, it does double damage a turn later, and it's pretty much a counter to Strong D. And that's awful. Never ever take Massacre, by the way. The RNG in this game is awful. So he picks me up right away because I have a Roboster in my group. I didn't remember that. That's my fault. But if you don't have anything metallic in your group or anything considered shiny, like Curse Lamp or any one of those kind of metal-y monsters, he will not pick you up right away. So what you need to do is you need to use the change staff on the what do you call it? The Mad Mirror up top, because he will, oh, that was easy, because then he'll, as you try and leave, he'll come and pick you up and bring you back up to the top of the mountain, and that's what's going to happen. And this Mad Condor will always try and join you, so we're going to say no, but he's a great monster, and he has the heal skill too, so that's really important. Alright, so you open the treasure chest, you find a world dew, but you find out Light Orb is no longer here, which is kind of annoying, to say the least. So now what we need to do is go find the Light Orb. Well, who has the Light Orb? Probably the new Monster King. Well, where's the new Monster King? Probably in the annoying castle. And the Mad Condor is the first of 4 mini-bosses, and then before a final boss, which is actually going to be our first boss monster of the game. Some people call them demon monsters from the original games or the original Dragon Warrior series, but in this game most people call them boss monsters. And they do that pretty much until the end of the series with Dragon Warrior Monsters Joker 2. Once again, I'm still not sure if I'm going to cover that series. I find that series to be just appalling in every sense of the word. It's really long. There's no way to speed up the combat. And it's just really, really difficult to give it a really good rating because there's not many customizable options, less skills, there's less planning. There's an online part of it, but I won't be going over it because pretty much 3 smaller monsters are always going to be better than 1 big monster, because at the end of the day everyone gets the same amount of stats, and when that happens, well, if everyone has maxed out stats, well, 3 attacks are always going to be better than 1 attack. And at that point it's just better to just have 3 smaller monsters. I figured that one out pretty late, but I do kind of find it really interesting. So you want to come up here. The king is supposed to notice, read the sign over here, You have to do Rage and Heaven Sword, Heaven Armor, and Heaven Helmet. Gather these, and the Light Orb shall be your reward. And so, basically what you need to do is get the Light Orb. And in order to do that, the first one we're going to go after here, it's actually really important here that you get to be the Mad Gopher in here. Now, unfortunately, I did not get lucky. Never getting lucky here is kind of my thing, because it's a 1 out of 4 chance, and that's actually really awful. Oh boy. I can see this going on for a while, but essentially what you want to do is you want to turn into the Mad Gopher. I'm going to try moving and see if it'll give me a better result. Nope, it just changed me into the other stub bird. Now, the reason for this is, there we go, perfect. And this is one of the major differences between the two versions, Terra's Adventures and Kobe's Journey. So what you need to do here is you need to come straight down, and yes, since there's a step limit, you really can't fool around here, because you just have, you have enough to basically go enter the first mini-boss's dungeon, and you have to enter this hole. And as Mad Gopher, you're just big enough, just small enough, my bad, to fit through here, and that allows you to get onto the next area. However, in Terra's Adventure, you don't have to do what I just did, because you can just fit through the hole naturally. You don't have to worry about it. Now, this area here in particular, it has a couple interesting little monsters. Nothing amazing, I don't think. I don't remember anything here being important that I've ever actually grinded for. I think the only one that I've actually ever picked up was just out of the fact that I happened to get it off of off chance that he joins my group, no matter what happens. And that's not actually a bad level. That's actually a really good level right there. The Roboster is coming in really helpful, and the Roboster is a pretty good monster just in general, anyways. But so is Phoenix, because she gets White Fire and Scorching, and the other one, and she also gets Blaze Most. They're two really powerful spells. They're two really powerful fire spells. Of course, it's useless against dragons, but I mean it's decent to say the least. He got Heal All. Just gonna do that real quick, so looks like I didn't really need to do all that, but that's okay. So, like I said, you are pretty limited here to how many steps you have before the effect wears off. Right, out of the way, Chameleon. You're useless. Chameleons are useless. You heard me. You heard me. Not that I don't like them. I do. But they're useless in this game. I don't recommend picking them up. Unless you need a dragon desperately. That's pretty much it. Or unless they join your group without, you know, you needing to give them any meat. Full Hero, Evil Seed. Nothing here really important. Evil Seed has really bad stats. You've probably seen it in your breeding chart at some point, if you've been looking extensively into it. They're not worth your time, really. I don't think they breed into anything useful. It's just a really good... I'm just gonna ignore it. I used to take Evil Slash in the past a lot, because my monsters could usually survive the last boss's massive damage output. But I just found that a more consistent strategy is just pretty much go with White Fire and White Ice and have better stats overall. Obviously, if I was going for a faster strategy, and if I get lucky, if I knew a way to manipulate the RNG in this game, so that my Evil Slashes would always hit, I'd obviously take them, but I don't, so it's really difficult to do that, to say the least. Let's see, if I remember correctly, this leads to a treasure chest here. Oh, nope. Leads to the boss room. So you can't save here, and this is the first boss battle. But, like I said, since a lot of my monsters have Metal Cut, it's really important to have it for this battle. So, next time, I'm gonna start the battle here, in the next episode. Until then, see you guys later.